Today we're continuing on with the task of attempting to make the sound of paper crumpling via synthesis. And I say attempting because I don't know how far we're going to get, but we're having fun, I'm learning, hopefully you are too. This is what we have. So we have a MIDI effect rack with two arpeggiators feeding a vital. The LFOs are changing the arpeggiator's rate, going crazy, giving that random note triggering, and the vital is playing the clicks with some filtering and some envelopes and some brown noise and stuff. And that's all good, but this is a bit messy. This MIDI effect rack and the LFOs, I'm not happy with this, and I'm going to delete them and build something in Max for Live, which is going to get a bit nerdy. So if you're into these videos for the more production and song creation elements, I'll probably spend another couple of videos on this paper synthesis stuff before we move on. So let's open up the Max MIDI effect here. So I want to use this as the note sender. I'm still going to use MIDI notes to trigger the vital, but I want to have more control over how they're generated or how they're randomly generated. So let's introduce a module. We'll do a note out. This is where our note out comes from, which would be pitch, velocity, and channel, which we don't need. And let's just get something happening. I'm going to go make note, and we'll do an unpack 2. So this, or unpack 00. This will split a list of two elements up. In this case, the pitch, which is 64, and the velocity, 127. If I feed that into the unpack, and we have two outlets, let's just test that that works. When I click this, it splits the list out the two outlets. Quite simple. And that's what we need to go into the make note, because we need a pitch and a velocity and a duration. So we'll go pitch, velocity, and we can hard code or write the duration into the make note by just adding it to the object. And then this goes out here. And what this does, it will generate a note that is 1 second long at the MIDI value 64 for a velocity, at a velocity of 127. It doesn't seem to be triggering the vital, which is interesting. I wonder if I need to specify a channel number. So let's just do that. We've hit our first hurdle. There's probably going to be a lot of failure in this video, just giving you a warning. No. Seems like vital isn't getting the package of MIDI it needs. Let's try adding we'll use the note length. Let's try putting a note length after the MIDI. Hopefully that strips or adds the values that vital needs. Okay, so that's triggering a click now. So, whoops, we don't want to do that. While we do this, I'm going to bring the cutoff and the envelope and the oscillator, or the response, or whatever this is, up to its max value, just so we can really hear the click. Okay, that's excellent. So as this clicks, you can hear we're still getting the variation in the thing. So I guess the thing to do now is we can trigger this click over and over. We could use a metro, which is a timer at say 200 milliseconds, and if we attach a toggle box to that, it will just continuously bang that. So that's at 200 milliseconds. We can of course speed this up or slow it down. So let's go 200, and let's drag this down to make it faster. That's kind of cool. So we want a bit of random variation in this. So how am I going to go about this? So this speeding up is good. First thing that comes to mind is using a random. Would that work? Okay, let's try, random. Generate a random number. Let's just go 50. So this is going to output a random number between 0 and 50 when I trigger it like so. So could we, instead of feeding this into the metro, we could have a plus 0. So this value is actually going to go into the left inlet of the plus, and then the random is going to come out this interval here, and that combined is going to give us a new number, which is the the tempo in milliseconds that we specify plus a random number between 1 and 50, and let's have that split into two things. So we'll go yeah, we want this going into the metro as the time, and then the metro we're going to split into two separate bangs. So the first bang is going to trigger the note. The second bang is going to go across and randomize the number once again. So in between each one, we should get a new random number between 1 and 50, and I'd like to see that value. So let's just add a box here to have a look, and let's see if this works. And we need to drag this in order to get a value. Is that random generating random numbers? It is, but it also, okay, so this random also needs to bang this left inlet here. So we'll go TB integer. Okay, we'll bring this up. Random comes out here. So that goes into here, and that goes into here, and that should work now. So you can hear we have a bit of variation going on. So the click is no longer constant, and this should speed up, but we should really decrease this increment as well of -50 as we get shorter. That's not too bad. Ooh, negatives. Don't know what's going on there. I feel like if we were to put a negative, let's go -40 just as a test, and we actually fed this into here and this into here, that random is going to get shorter as well. We're still getting that continuous sound though. Okay, it is kind of sounding good. And while we have it in that state, let's get this number moving automatically. So I'm going to use a function. Oops, a function might work quite well. So this allows us to add points, and of course we can do curves, I believe, if I can remember how to do it. Is it Shift? No, Control. There is a way to draw curves, I think. Let's have a quick look at the help file. It's been a while since I used this. Blah blah blah. Curves. Okay. Use the option key. I don't have an option key. Anyway, we can figure this out. So this is okay. So this goes from let's look at the values here. Low and high display. No, we want the other one. Horizontal grid step. So that's 100. So as we cycle this from 0 to 100, it should output whatever value the current line is at. So let me just get rid of these points here, and let's just do a quick test. So this goes from, okay, so X is 1000, Y is 0 to 1. So this should output the value, no, all points in line format, dump message out, bang when mouse is changed. So let's just add this to here and see what happens when I scroll. Okay, see, as I scroll from 0 to 1000, it is currently outputting the value, and we'd be able to see this a lot better if we added a slider. Make it horizontal, and let's make sure it's there. We'll just use an indicator. Make the range one 1000 and add that to this as well. We'll make the background color completely transparent, make the thickness of the line very small, and if we overlay this over this function here, like so, the line should move accordingly. So you can see when we're at 500, we're at the halfway point and we get an output of 5. So that's good. So this goes from 0 to 1, but I want this to go down. So we can go ahead and change the, I'll just move that out of the way. Can I change the grid step Y? No, that's wrong. I'm looking for the attribute, which is the range. Okay, so here's the range, 0 to 1. So if I was to feed this, say, 1 to 0, I'm not sure if this will work if I put this into the range box. Maybe it needs to be comma separated. Or maybe this just needs to be 0 or 1. I'm not quite sure how I can change this. Maybe set range 0, 1. Okay, let me get that range attribute back up. So when we work with Max for Light, there's quite a lot of things that I do not know how to use. Okay, I don't know if range is the right thing. I think we want to change. I'll tell you what, let's just leave it as it is and we'll use a different technique. What I'll do is I'll scale the output. So scale will take a range of numbers and convert them into another number. So in this case we're going from 0 to 1. Those are the input numbers, and I want it to go from 200 to 1. So in that case this is how fast we want this metro to click. So now if we feed the output of this into the scale object and move this value, you'll see as we need to bring this down as well. I need to adjust the range here as well. Yeah, so you'll see now as I drag this from 0 to 1000, we're getting this range decrease. Now you might be wondering why I'm using this. It's because I want to be able to draw curves in this thing here, and this will constantly go from 0 to 1000, and we do this by using a line object. And we would feed this a value of 0 to 1000 over a period of, say, 10 seconds, which is, we need a comma there, 0, 1000, and 10 seconds, which is 10,000. So the format is lowest to highest over a period of time. And if I click on that, you'll see that the line will generate a continuous movement of those two numbers. So we're going from 0 to 1000 over 10 seconds, which is too long, so let's change this to, we'll go 4 seconds. That's still too long, we'll go 2 seconds. Very good. So if I can connect these two now, you should see this all move accordingly. Excellent, and now we're getting the countdown that we need here. So if I connect the scale to this box, it's getting a bit messy, but if I turn this on, and then I click on this, it does go a bit crazy. So I do actually want to be able to alter this. So let's add one more point so it goes fast, and then we'll have this one slow down. Yeah, we're getting there. We're still getting a bit of a musical stuff, but anyway, we've got part of the core function of this max patch sorted.